Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to our single-player Dominions game using Sombre's Warhammer mod, Vampiria. This is turn 76, and we're basically going for the win. So, let's do a little synopsis. Big zoom out. We've conquered probably, what is this? This is like a third of the world, perhaps. Yeah, probably around about. And we are sitting at, what is it, 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 15 ascension points. We need 25. So it would seem that we are a ways away, but in point of fact, we are actually very close. We have 25. We own this throne. We have not claimed it. It is the Throne of Water. That's another 2, so that's 17. We own this throne. We've already claimed it. We have not claimed this throne, the Crystal Throne, which is another 2. That puts us at 19. And then there's this throne, the Throne of Creation, we also own. We're heading to claim, well, that's a 3-point throne, so that puts us at 22. And then we are attacking this throne, the Desert of Vision. If this throne is a tier 3 throne, then that is the last throne that we will need. If it is a tier 2 throne, we will have to go find another throne. And we've got some options. There's a throne over here that we could drive towards. There's a throne over here that we could try to get to. There is a throne over here that's pretty out of the way, but I mean, we can move towards if we need to, etc, etc. So this is probably the biggest issue because it is in Karazakarak territory, and we're kind of fighting pretty heavily with the dwarves at the moment. So there's that. And then I think actually, in point of fact, this one is one of the closest because we can zip zop zoobity dop up there from Windswept Desert. So we're kind of hoping that this is just a tier 3 throne, though. So, fingers crossed. So, I've got the music a little loud for... I wanna listen to the music, the actual game music, because I do like the game music, but it tends to get flagged on YouTube. So, I tend to use the Spotify playlist instead, but I just kind of wanted to listen to it tonight. Alrighty then. Let's take a look at what we got going on. We've completed Thaumaturgy 7, did some empowering in air. Someone claimed the throne of, what was that? The Shattered Throne. Karazakarak claimed the Shattered Throne. Probably here. Maybe here. IDK. Oh shit. Voice of Tiamat found. Floating rock, rune of earth, moving sandbanks, and sweetwater current. 1, 2, 3 gems. Earth ritual. Cool. Unfound door, enchanted tower, +1/+1. Scarlet Pond is a +1. Rustwater and overgrown lake. Did we already check these? I feel like we already... Yeah, we've checked these. We've seen this. Okay, skip through this. Yeah, because Bretonnia sent some great hawks at us, which was annoying. And then we started to kind of plink away at something. Want a big battle here. Okay, I kind of remember this fucking shit. This fucking shit. Okay, cool. Let's do it, shall we? So we're already moving. We've already declared the attack on Desert of Visions. I don't think we're really doing anything special here. We do have a Rigor Mortis coming out, and a Darkness coming out. You know what? We should probably do that on 2 separate people, right? Which we totally can. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Darkness. Vulnerability. Lightning. Summon Earth Power. Man, I really did not care when I started scripting this stuff. Iron Skin. I think this is just going to be an overwhelming kind of like scenario. We're basically relying on our Graveguard being strong, which they are. These Harvesters are pretty damn strong too, though. In fairness. I'm not really expecting any issue there. We are claiming the throne here this turn with Leopold. Cool. Oh, I remember the other thing that we're doing this turn. We are casting Arcane Nexus this turn. We need to alchemize, though, to do it. How many do we need? We can cast it at base, so we just need 150. Not 104? Quick math? I'm gonna put 125. Which should. All right. Temple. Lab. I think where we would even go to next as a little stopgap plan. Aha! Telemarketer. I get so many spam calls these days. Actually, just gonna move into Rick Valcor. Where is our god? Sneaking. High is her stealth is not that high. So Leopold's grabbing this one. And then he can head to this one. Our god is heading to this one, and then our bishop fish is heading here. Should be going pretty good. Casual Arcane Nexus cast. I feel bad. I actually had enough gems to very, very reasonably put up a Arcane Nexus, but I didn't have the research for it in my Nazca game. I was like, oh, I really want to do this, but I just decided to do something else instead. It was rough. It hurt me inside. Right now, Skaven Blight is in the lead, which is interesting. I'm actually very interested in playing Skaven Blight. Okay! We have claimed the Throne of Water. Hell yeah. Wisbatsu, Bolt of Blood, Dark Knowledge. God. Okay. Underwater Cliff, Bridge of Ice, Rune of Air, Iron Cliff, Halls of the Drowned. To summon Long Dead? Oof. Oh, that was already there. Interesting. Smolder Stone is just a +1. Help Grow. So +1. Shimmering Conches. +1. I'm just not familiar with any of the water ones. Apparently I need to play some underwater nations. Arcane Nexus is up. Mercury Pawn. That's a +2. 48 water. Holy shit. Okay. Battle in Tiradir. My goodness. What does that have? That guy have, Oh, yeah, he does. He has, Blood Vengeance. Interesting. Oh, he took the soul trap from us. Nice. Okay, we did take him down, but that was, heavy losses. Tiradir. 48. 48 Graveguard. For one pretty powerful Tomb King. He is Dominion Immortal, though, and I'm pretty sure that is definitely in Nehekara's Dominion, so there's that. We attacked in Sea Stag Lake. All these fucking war lobsters. Oh no. Oh no. War lobsters are very cool. It'd be neat if they weren't like it would be neat if they were aquatic rather than amphibious rather than aquatic rather. Oh. Wow. That was sick, honestly. That was... Holy shit. That was disgusting. I want to watch that again. That was absurd. On over. Just deleted this entire section. Boop. They're killing so many each like movement. Holy wow. Damn. That was absurd. Okay, well we got horribly destroyed there. We killed 3 of those war lobsters. Okay, we attacked in the broken land. Ah, right. Pretty easy peasy. We attacked in the Desert of Visions. Okay, so this is big old monolith, bunch of watchers. Oh, and an orc biggin hanging out. Interesting. Ouch. Rigor Mortis goes out. Gets stunned by that? He did. Oh, the stats on these guys are abysmal. Fucking hey, those blade winds. Oh, God. I mean, oh, Jesus. I figured we would take extremely heavy casualties on this. We're really just brute forcing it, but my God, this is some pretty intense stuff. Holy shit. Yeah, Gift of Heavens yourself, please. And thank you. It's slash and piercing resist, so. Nice. Someone just slapped the shit out of him. Oh no, he's casting Shatter. Awesome. Well, it's awesome when he actually does cast Shatter. I wish the AI would be like, oh, and recognize, hey, that Shatter did, you know, 1 billion damage. Maybe I should just keep casting the Shatter. Oh, yeah. I should have thought about casting Shatter, actually. I sent that in. Damn losses. Holy fuck. Lake of Seaweed. Tacton Belmar. Oh my god. That is a massive stack. Yo, that is absurd. Holy fuck balls, Batman. That is a crazy amount of units. The dwarves have just a clusterfuck of units going on over here. Dark vision does not help or hurt the dwarves that much. Christ. Ugh, we just weren't able to generate enough chaff on that. Is it Karstein that is the one that won't fucking get out? Oh. Okay. I was gonna be like, really? Of all the people? We lost a blood dragon. Oy, oy. I mean, we did a lot of damage there. We killed a lot of units. 370 units. Shit ton of chaff. Did we actually kill that many though? I mean, yeah, the Karen Wraiths killed a buck ton. Let's watch that again. Like, I was focused on all of the mages and everything like that, but how did the Karen Wraiths do? Clearly they did well. They held their own. I mean, they're kind of only obliterated by magic, it seems. They do really well in the one. I mean, obviously they're ethereal, but like, damn. Huh. Interesting. They definitely traded well. If we had like buffs on them of any sort, right, like some protection buffs and things like that, they probably would have done very, very well. Magic runes on the thrones of elements have been deciphered. There seems to be some kind of wards shielding the throne. Your advisors suggest further studies may be wise before. Oh, right. I remember going through this with Chaco. Pick what I think, and this is the one where it just doesn't matter every single turn we get. Yeah, see? Like, we keep trying to pick up this scenario, and it just never works in the Copper Canyon, so I'm just gonna not worry about it anymore. Okay, what is this? This is the Throne of the Elements. I'm pretty sure that is a Tier 3 throne. That's it. We're done. We do not need more thrones. Building palisades. Building, lab, building. Put as many people there as I can. Oh god. Really? Leaf, do I have anything to increase my... Oh, that's why. I was gonna be like, there's no way Because we went from, like, here all the way up to there. Like, freaking map move being destroyed by other people. Yay! We did. We did Arcane Nexus, and the game's gonna end in like 2 turns. Whatever, man. Oh, fuck. I took that off of her. Thinking. Isn't this the lady that was making Soul Conjurer? Or lifelong protections, rather? Why would she stop? Okay. Fuck it. We're gonna move to end. So, not this turn, but next turn, assuming nothing else happens, we should be able to end the game. And I think after we end, we're probably going to... I'm going to download Sombre's newest version of the mod, and we're going to take a look at Vampiria and some of the changes that have been made to them, right? Because they have received a couple nerfs since we have started playing. Namely, the Graveguard are not as strong as they used to be. Claim to the Throne of Creation. I'm still very interested in any of the things that we get. Stale Current. Increases death. Farm of Plenty. Endless Forest. What's Endless Forest? Ooh, Astral and Nature. Cool. Okay. Flame Throne. Throne. Yeah. Air tribe. What's up, Otis Botus? Did I disturb you? $133 astral pearls? My god. Alright. Okay. Oh, dear. Oh, this boy. He's a oh god. What you doing? Squeezing that finger. He's a sleepy boy. What's up, boy Obane? Looking very chill. Right? Cha! Victory! Reign supreme. Congratulations, Lipoa. Alright, so. My god. I needed to, like, let me just pause and scroll. Okay, let's view the history. We're just gonna watch it from the all the way through. Agaron, Black Crag, Nuln. See Talia very early on, and we're like, okay. And our expansion is just absurd with the Blood Dragons. And so we just throw ourselves at Talia, which that does actually take a bit of time, right? Like, we expand very well, but we don't fight big battles very well. Black Crag attacks us. It's annoying. We have to repulse, come back down as we're attacking Black Crag. As we're attacking the Nuln attacks and Nagaron attacks, we finish Black Crag. We repulse Nuln. We move towards Nagaron, and we took out freaking Nagaron real quick. And then saw how small Itza was, and Itza them as we're attacking Nuln. At that point, it's kind of, we did a little bit of, like, water journeying, right? But that's really the expansion. We start to fight against Nehekara, right? But most of that is just idle. It's at this point that we're kind of just doing idle thing and looking for thrones. So that there's not a way to, like, you can press pause. Okay. So, early spring of year 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Yeah. Definitely an enjoyable experience. Expanding with the Blood Dragons. But I don't think Blood Dragons were really a lot of fun aside from expansion. Like, I'm not a fan of the fact that you can't give them a shield, right? Without them losing their charnel blade. That's kind of a bummer to me, because their shield is pretty shit. I mean, I say it's pretty shit. It's fine for what it is, but it's nothing, you know, compared to, like, high-tier equipment. And obviously the charnel sword is, you know, you can lose the charnel sword then. I think I'm even less encouraged to do that now, though, because one of the changes that did get made to Vampiria is that most of the vampires have lost their regeneration. and they rely solely on their like bite and life drain attacks for their regen mechanics, which I think is cool, right? But that makes me even less inclined to want to give them different equipment. So it's just, it would be nice to be able to take, to change the shield out, right, for blood dragons. I don't know, blood dragons just aren't really my style, I guess. I'm not sure Vampiria is my style. The more I play the game, the more I'm like, I really like growth nations. I really like building an economy. And anytime I play like a death-oriented nation, I'm just like, this isn't as much fun as I would want it to be, right? It is a great nation. I think it's really cool, but I just think, yeah. So the other issue that I had was that Graveguard were just too strong. So I just felt incentivized to only use them rather than to experiment with everything else, just because they're so cheap, no upkeep, such high protection, magical hard-hitting weapons, right? They're just so good. I felt like no desire to use anything else. I'm somewhat concerned. So they have been nerfed, but I'm actually still somewhat concerned that just the base concept of them is so good that even with the nerfs, they're still going to be superior to things like Karstein, infantries, or like crypt ghouls or things like that, right? I'm motioning to where I had those particular individuals, but I don't know. I do think the wraiths, Karen wraiths specifically, but hex wraiths as well, are very, very strong. Potentially not secret OP, but like quite good. I would actually say that like I still enjoy Necrarchs more than I do Blood Dragons. It's just the Blood Dragons expand so freaking well. But I think Necrarchs are cooler overall. I would rather play as them. A part of me loves the way that Vampiria is designed, and that part of me is the guy who loves variety and who loves, the Swiss Army knife approach, right? The kind of concept of like a tool for anything. And in that case, Vampiria is really, really, really cool. I would play them in single player over and over and over and over again. But I would have a tough time being sold on them for multiplayer, with assuming that they, had some balance tweaks for things like Blood Dragons and Graveguard. And the reason is because it feels very, I don't know, they obviously they have a wide amount of variety, but they feel typically pretty shallow. Like, I was honestly struggling to be able to get deep access in other paths aside from death and blood, which makes perfect sense. I mean, like, Vampiria, death and blood. Yeah, absolutely. But from a personal playstyle, that's rough for me, right? Like, I think I enjoy things that have easier times getting deeper access to other paths. That's not a knock at the nation, just like a me not enjoying it as much, right, type situation. But overall, I think this is really cool. And my god, the sprite work in this nation is so cool. There's so many really, really, really neat things. I would absolutely love the addition of things like the Black Coach, right? I actually think the addition of things like the Black Coach corpse carts or mortis engines would be really, 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 really cool and really, really useful for potentially diversifying some of the factions, right? I feel like giving giving Karstein the Black Coach, potentially, right, would be really neat, because then they would have a very useful kind of like chariot trampler kind of style scenario that I think would be really cool. I think if you gave the Necrarchs the corpse carts, right, that would actually be really cool. And I think if you did that, you could take the Karen Wraiths away from the Necrarchs. Or would you take them away from... Well, either way, right? Like, I would have the ethereal units, the Karen Wraiths and the Hex Wraiths, be either on the Lamians or on the Necrarchs, not on both, right? So you basically, you have a... If you pick this one, you're picking it for the ethereal. You know, this is the ethereal faction, that type of scenario. And then, like, a Mortis Engine, I think, is just a really cool type scenario. Also, the idea of, like, zombie dragons would be really neat, right? That would be a really cool kind of, like, awesome, either, like, late game summons. So, for example, there's some really, really, really fun summons. Not in Conjuration, it's in Enchantment. Really cool summons, but they end at level 5 with the Corpse Giant. Well, I say that's wrong. Skeleton Warrior Army at level 6, right? But being able to get, like, a zombie dragon or something like that at, like, level 8 would be pretty cool, right? That would actually be really, 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 really cool. Other things... Vargulfs for the Strigoi, right, would be pretty neat. We do have Vargeists, and I didn't really play around with them. I think that might be the biggest thing is there's a lot of units in the Vampiria roster, obviously, but there aren't as many attractive units as I was hoping there were going to be. Partially because Grave Guards are so damn good, and Black Knights are so damn good, even though we didn't even use Black Knights, right? Because we just used Grave Guards. And Blood Knights were so good, right? So it was kind of like the scenario of why use anything else, you know? Especially when our other options are like Crypt Ghouls, which are like, this is not that great. And costs, right? Like, has upkeep. So there's a weird balance here between, like, these units are cool units, graphically, lore-wise, etc., but I find coming up with compelling reasons to use them very, very difficult. I will say this, one of the other changes to Vampiria, we're probably actually not even going to look at Vampiria when we download the new mod, because I'm just talking about all the changes. One of the other, probably the biggest changes, is they no longer have all of this death recruit stuff. Right? Death recruitment isn't a thing anymore for Vampiria. It's just they have... Well, it's not... Because Sombre got rid of basically the death recruitment and the turmoil recruitment for most of the nations. And instead... What was it? What is the instead? I'm kind of blanking here. I think there's not really an instead. It's basically just like, it's the nation is set to death 3 now, right? Obviously you can still take growth, but you're set to death 3, and your dominion increases death, right? So you're even more incentivized to just stay at death 3, because even if you try to give yourself growth 3, right, which is going to be a horrendous amount of points, it's still going to naturally gravitate down towards death, because your dominion spreads death. So basically what Sombre did was take away the concept of potentially going growth on Vampiria, which I think is a good thing, right? And then not worry about having death recruitment, because you're just always going to have death, so you don't need to incentivize death. Everything just comes in at their cheaper price. So, for example, like, these aren't 120 gold with 10 death recruitment, making them 90 gold in death 3, right? They're just 90 gold, right? Which I think is honestly, like, that's absolutely the direction that I would go. I think that's significantly better. Anyways, yeah, so I think at the end of the day, my issue with some of these rosters is that they're so broad. Yeah, I would take... Where's Necrarchs? My Necrarchs are down here. Right, Necrarchs have Hex Wraiths and Cairn Wraiths. I would get rid... and these have Tortured Spirits, Cairn Wraiths, and Hex Wraiths. I would take the Cairn Wraiths and Hex Wraiths off of the Necrarchs and give them Corpse Carts, and the Tortured Spirits as well. Give them Corpse Carts, and... Where is it? I'd give them zombies. Like, actual zombies. Right? Not Long Dead Warriors, not Graveguard or anything like that. I mean, they can keep those because those are the natural things. But give them actual zombies. Right? Like, make a unit that is... This is a zombie unit. And go from there. And so they would have, like... You could just have massive amounts of zombies. Right? I would even take away the Crypt Ghouls. Trying to make things unique. Right? Like... Take away the Crypt Ghouls, the Strigoi get Crypt Ghouls, right? And then let the Necrarchs have zombies, or like specific zombies, right? If you need to make it a big deal. Corpse Carts, these Harvesters, Corpse Giants, etc. So almost to the point to where, like, there's so many units. I would get rid of a lot of these units just to make them more specialized, right? Like, so I can't see the vast majority of the time, I can't see most people caring about using like these militia, light infantry, heavy infantry, guardsmen, mercenary macemen, mercenary pikemen. The Long Dead Archers are kind of cool. I would actually love to see Long Dead Archers on more people. The mercenary cutthroats. I get that the Lamians are supposed to, like, be more in the Borderlands area, right? The Border Princes area, and be, you know, willing to hire them, but it just doesn't seem to matter, right? But if you instead focus in and you're like, okay, what are everyone gets these, right? Everyone gets the Soulless, the Long Dead, the Graveguard, and the Black Knight. And then it's what are the core units, 4 or 5 units for the Lamians. Well, you get these Noble Cavalry, which are cool because these turn into vampires in the newest version, right? Like, they can get experience, and they'll eventually get given the Blood Kiss, which is pretty neat. I like that. And then you have the ethereal units, right? Like Tortured Spirit, Cairn Wraith, Hex Wraith, cool. That's the line of the Lamians, right? And what do you have for the Necrarchs? You have some zombies, you have a Corpse Cart, you have a Harvester, and you have a Corpse Giant. Cool, awesome. What do you have for the Blood Dragons, right? You have, you have a Foot Soldier, right? You have, I would just get one of these. You have a Knight Aspirant. I wouldn't worry about Imperial versus Bretonnian. So maybe you have like a Foot Soldier, you have a Sergeant. So basically, guy with a shield, guy with a two-hander, non-Blood Dragon Cavalry, and then Blood Knight, right? So those are like your 4 units. Strigoi, right? I would have... you're gonna have your Crypt Ghouls, I guess, if you want a spined version or a swamp version or whatever. I would honestly, like, get rid of the... it's cool to have them. Maybe they could be fun, but, like, really, it feels like, to me, it's Crypt Ghouls, right? It's Crypt Horrors, and then it's Vargulfs, and it's Vargeists. Those 4, right? And I feel like anything else in the mix is just kind of like muddying the waters. Like, these Strigani Warriors... Like, just from a stat standpoint, I'm like, even if I take a Bless, I'm like, why do I want these? Actually, I say that. These guys kind of slap. They'll chop shop, right? Like, you could put a Killy Strength Bless on these guys and magic weapons, and they will chop the shit out of things. But they cost gold, right? And you don't have good ways to bless Sacreds as Vampiria. It just feels weird, right? It doesn't feel Vampiria, right? I guess is my thing. You get what I'm saying? Well, what's the other one? Karstein. Right, so Karstein I think is actually kind of like the odd man out of the group. Everyone else, I would get rid of a lot of their miscellaneous units, and I would really focus in and be like, these are their core units, and that's what we focus on, right? And then instead on Karstein I think is kind of that like jack of all trades. So for them, I would keep a lot of the human units because that makes sense for them, right? Because they are of all the other vampires are like, nah, we kill, we murder, we maim, we torture, we do experimentation, right? And the Karsteins do all of that, but they do something different. They rule, right? They are nobility. They rule the common folk. So there needs to be common folk for them, and I think the lineup for Karstein actually works really well. I would get rid of the other things though that are involved here, right? Like I would get rid of Crypt Ghouls, I would get rid of Vargheists, and that way the units that are here, right? Peasants, maybe some hounds, maybe a hound master or something like that, levies, all of those, right? Are these human units, and then you have a couple, right? I like Fellbats for the Karsteins. I like that. I do like Knights of the Rose. I think that is pretty cool, right? And I think actually these would be an amazing unit if again they didn't cost freaking gold for Karsteins. So I would say I think Vampiria is over diversified, right? I think there's so many units in Vampiria right now that most of them will never see the light of day. Like this mercenary maceman. Oh, well, I say that, but in the newest update, Sombre did reduce the cost of mercenaries for Lamia specifically, I think, so that people might try to use them more. But it feels like it's missing the point, right? You know, it's trying to encourage the utilization of because come on, like what is the point of this mod? What is the point of a Warhammer Fantasy mod? It's to experience the fantasy of these Warhammer nations, which is so incredible and in-depth and involved and everything like that. But the fantasy of these Warhammer nations isn't the mercenary macemen from the Lamian bloodline of Vampiria, right? Like it's muddying the waters. It's missing the point. When you pick Vampiria, you want to play with Tomb Banshees. Well, that feels weird. But you want to play with necromancers, you want to play with grave guards, you want to play with Vargolfs, and you want to play with hex wraiths, and you want to play with black coaches and etc., right? Blood knights. You want to play with these iconic units that scream vampires, and things like mercenary cutthroats. Whether they're useful units in the game, or not, is irrelevant, right? Because of course, right, having more units just means more of a chance to find a way to utilize them. A Swiss Army knife, right? Is if you have more tools available, and you're well aware of the capabilities of all of those tools, you have more answers prepared. So, yeah, absolutely. More units is typically better, right? But I think from the fantasy perspective, I think you could cut half of the units or more out of Vampiria, and Vampiria would feel just as interesting, just as diverse, and just as fun, honestly. So, yeah. Anyways. A Mortis engine on fucking Lamia would be so fucking cool, by the way. Like if they had noble cavalry, which promote into right the consorts, tortured spirits, Cairn wraiths, hex wraiths, and a fucking mortis engine that you can get like one a month of. That'd be fucking dope. Corpse carts would be really cool. Like, anyways, Sombre has done an amazing job with this mod. Absolutely amazing job with this mod. And if he didn't change anything about Vampiria going forward, it would still be an awesome, really fun, really neat nation. The idea that you get new exciting opportunities with every capital that you take is so incredibly cool. In point of fact, I think that is something that should probably be used in more both vanilla and Mod Nation stuff. I don't even know if it's a thing. It might already be a thing, but I think it would be super cool for like Skaven, right? To have a mechanic much the same of being able to basically pick your clan, right? Clan Pestilence, right? Clan Eshin, Clan Scryer, right? Like being able, every time you took a capital, to be able to pick the clan that you were going to, focus on would be amazing. You could do that for like Lizardmen as well. You could do a scenario where like, because they have a whole bunch of different like blessed unit options, but you could basically like pick a whenever you took a capital, you could pick a god to favor, right, or an old one to favor, and when you did, right, you would get the blessed spawnings associated with that god in that capital, right? That would be really cool. I think the cap mechanic, and obviously you don't want to do it with every single nation because then it gets a little overblown and trite, right? But I definitely think that if there aren't already, I think Vampiria is the first one in this mod pack that does it, but I could be wrong. But I think that would be really cool for several other nations in this mod, and also just vanilla period, mod making period, etc., etc. I think it's a really, really, really cool mechanic. And in a multiplayer game, right, in a single player game, we basically went in going, yeah, we're going to be able to get all 5 of these, no worries, etc., etc. That's not the case in a multiplayer game, right? Like, especially a smaller multiplayer game, like a 9 to 12 person game, you're not going to go in saying, oh, I'm definitely going to get 5 capitals, so my choice is, it's fine, we'll just pick whatever. No, your choice is going to be super specific and super particular to who you are facing, and that's a really, really, really big deal. In point of fact, I almost wonder, right, if it would be preferable, right, in a multiplayer game to defer your choice until a little later, right? Like, oh shit, what? My goodness, I'm very sorry. I just realized my chat is not working. So I see it like popping up over on the side now, but my chat bar was not moving at all. So, fuck me. Un momento, let me read back through chat real fast. Because I've been just like talking for the last like 20 minutes and have not noticed chat at all. Fundamentally, Graveguard not costing any upkeep will always make them attractive. Yes, very true. I agree. Any troops costing upkeep will compare poorly to free units. Yep. Zombie dragons were a summon in Dom 4 or Dom 3 iteration of Vampiria? Really? I would love to see that. I mean, zombie dragons is just kind of like that fantasy concept of like, oh, that's really cool, right? Like, that would be super neat. Sombre! Hey, how's it going? You think you missed most of the recommendations, recruitable lineups, but I can give them a watch listen later. It'd be nice to do corpse carts and mortis engines. Perhaps you will at some point, though they're quite high investment. Oh yeah, I would imagine. I think, so the mortis engine I can definitely see being like a super involved piece of art. Like, and you know, your time is valuable, so I wouldn't throw things in that you don't think is worth it. Corpse carts, though, I would hope could be like, you know, even from just like a basic standpoint on an art scale, I would hope that, you know, that could be cool. Though I think, like, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that could be pretty fucking involved. There's a little bit of sub-faction selection in the Dark Elves with the Cult of Pleasure, though less that so than in Vampiria. Gotcha. Dark Elves, like, I really like I like Dark Elves aesthetically, but from Dark Elves are always a hard sell for me in the lore of Warhammer, in playing Warhammer, whatever the game may be. They're just a really hard sell because they are truly just vile creatures. And it honestly fucks with me trying to, like, get into playing them. But anyways, so I absolutely, this nation is a blast. I do feel like it could be more focused and have less units, honestly. And I don't think that would hurt it in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I think it would be just as viable, just as cool, just as interesting, and honestly, probably a little less muddy. But anyways, you have to lean into the sheer awfulness if you want to have a good time as the Dark Elves. Oh my god, but that is so awful. They are so awful. Holy shit. Also, by the way, Sombre, I love that your name is Bacon Radar. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, that's it. That's it for Vampiria. I had a blast playing Vampiria. Really cool nation. Not my flavor because it's a death nation, but I think pretty damn neat. I am surprised that there weren't any, like, free spawn mechanics with Vampiria, but I don't think it... Like, I think I went into Vampiria being like, this is gonna be weird or not feel good because there's no free spawn. I don't think that was the case. I think I ended up being like, no, not needed. You can spend gold to your heart's content, and it's perfectly fine. You actually slightly toned down how horrible the Dark Elves are. That's good to know, because in actual Dark Elf lore, they're really bad. And I think you aim to have a teen audience, perhaps at an earlier time. Obviously, like, I'm an adult. I read and play and watch. Like, adult stuff doesn't bother me. But even for fantasy genre, the intense hyper-focus of the Dark Elves on uber slavery and cruelty, right, is off-putting to me. And it's like, obviously it's Warhammer, it's grimdark, it's gonna deal with dark tones like that, and I deal with it all the time. It's fine, it's whatever. I don't bat an eyelash at a lot of the other nations and a lot of the shit that they pull, but the Dark Elves for me are just like, hot damn, it's like a shock jockey trying to push the envelope, right? Not so much that they're adult, just that the idea of a nation of extreme sadism is rather immature, honestly. Yeah, I agree, right? Like, it's almost to the point to where, like, they wrote Dark Elves to be so unbelievably, exactly, edgelord faction, so unbelievably over the top. Oh, here's the thing, Yama, I agree. But I find Skaven to be more off-putting and disconcerting from a creepiness, fear factor, because that feels more... It feels strange to say. It feels more real, since it's it's fantasy and it's Ratman, right? Like, how real can that be? But their motivations feel more real to me. The Dark Elves just feel like, I like pain and killing. Yes. It's kind of like Sombre said, right? Like, the Dark Elves just feel super edgelordy to me. But though I will say, aesthetically, really cool, right? Like, I do love a lot of the lore and a lot of the concepts behind it. It's just so edgy and so slavery and torture focused that I'm off-put by it. Anyways, Vampiria, really fucking cool, super fucking awesome, had a blast. but that's going to be the end of this video. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're gonna be playing a different faction once I download the newest version of the mod and we give some stuff a whirl. And that's going to be it. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.